So today I wanted to talk about an extreme money saving tip or technique that I have employed to save up large amounts of money in a short period of time. Now, I call it extreme because it's a little out there. People might think you're crazy when you say you're going to do it. Might be a little uncomfortable, but it really helps to save money quickly. And that technique is renting a room. Housing is always going to be one of your biggest costs in life. Unfortunately, in the world we live in today, most of us in the Western civilization, biggest check you got to write every month is for housing. So this is a great way to reduce the amount of money you spend on your accommodations monthly. So what is renting a room? Basically, it's instead of renting a whole house or renting a whole apartment, you just rent a room in that house or an apartment. And typically there will be other people staying in there as well. A lot of situations, it might be like a 4-bedroom apartment. All 4 rooms are rented out to separate people. Or you might find a situation where there's like a family with a house and they have a spare bedroom or a garage that's furnished that they want to rent out. So you just kind of have to shop around, see what kind of situation works best for you, who you want to live with. But basically, you just have the rights to one room in the house. Now, in most cases, you can also use the living room, the kitchen, things like that. In some cases, if you're renting like a basement or garage, maybe not. You might just supposedly be just in that one room. But in a lot of cases, you have access to the whole house, but you really only have the rights to the one room you're renting. Now, I want to talk about the money. Why this is an extreme money-saving tip or technique. Well, for one thing, it's a lot easier to get into renting a room. House, apartment, they want first, last, security deposit, application fee, all these other fees. By the time you get into it, you're looking at, a couple grand sometimes, renting a room, typically what I found over like the course of 4 years renting rooms was first month's rent was kind of standard. First and last occasionally, but those places I just wouldn't go to. Most people when they're renting a room, they're just trying to get that room filled. So they're not really too worried about getting a ton of money up front. Also, they're not really too worried about you damaging the room because it's just a room. It's not a whole house or a whole apartment that you can trash. So a lot of times it was just first month's up front, maybe a couple $100 security deposit, but other than that, super easy to get into. Then the monthly rent was super cheap, like where I lived, and this varies depending on what part of the country you live in. But where I was living in Florida, it was around $350 to $500 was what it cost to rent a room. Whereas an apartment, just like a 1-bedroom or a studio, maybe was from like $600 to $800. For like a 1-bedroom, from like $600 to $800. So kind of half the price to get into renting a room. And average for like $350, you got a room, and you probably had to use the bathroom down the hall that everyone else used. I know one time for like $500, I got the master bedroom in a house, and it had its own bathroom in there. That was great. It was $500, utilities included, everything. That was one of the best rooms I ever rented. It was great. It was a huge room. But you just kind of have to look at your budget, how much you want to pay, what you're willing to put up with. Me, whenever possible, I got my own room, my own bathroom, but sometimes I had to share a bathroom with other people. And here's the thing. I know this may sound like, me living with total strangers, sharing a bathroom, that's crazy. Human beings, we adapt to, basically any situation you put us in, we adapt. It might be weird for the first couple weeks. You'll get used to it. Just think about all the money you're saving. If you can save an extra $300 every month, 6 months, that's like $1,800, close to like $2,000. You can make a big dent in a bill, or you can buy a cash car with that, or you can go on a serious vacation with that, or you can invest that. That's a good portion of money. I know some people think, well, I could never live in just a room. But if you think about it, say you have a 1-bedroom apartment, in your living room, all you really have, unless you just have a bunch of stuff, is like couches and, the TV. It's stuff that, the only reason you have couches is because you have a living room. So you go out and buy couches to put in the living room. Like you can just sit in a chair at your desk in your room. You can sit on your bed. You can buy a little recliner for your room. Like you don't need all that space. You can mount the TV on the wall in your room. Like you can live in a room easily and it's not uncomfortable. I mean, this may not be a long-term thing. But like I say, if you're trying to save some money, you've got a goal in mind, you got a life goal you're trying to reach, trying to achieve, and one of the things holding you back is money. Great way to save money is rent a room for 6 months or a year. I know me, I found that I liked it so much, I just kept doing it. Like I was like, oh, every time I had to like think about getting an apartment, I was just like, oh no, I'll just rent a room again. It's way cheaper. I finally did end up going back to an apartment eventually. But once again, like I said, the money every month, I was just like, ugh. Because one of the cool things too about renting a room, a lot of times utilities are included. So all you have to have is just that set amount every month. When the utilities aren't included, you kind of have to split utilities with the other people. Once again, way cheaper. Even though the overall power bill or light bill might be more expensive, because there's 4 people in the house. Once you break it down 4 ways, it's usually pretty cheap. So I usually knew between like power and internet and all that stuff, probably another $100 maybe tacked on. Sometimes it was more, sometimes it was less. But $350. I knew if I $450, I was going to be good. Way cheaper than if I was renting an apartment for $700 and then I had another like $150 or $200 tacked on in utilities and internet and cable and all that. So that's just the first of probably going to be 4 or 5 extreme money saving tips I wanted to share. Renting a room, it's super easy. If you want to know how to get started, you can just hop on Craigslist. When you go to the housing section, there is a place for renting rooms. Like that's how I found all the rooms I rented. I just went on Craigslist and there was tons of them. Like more and more people are starting to do this. I think this is the thing that's going to become more acceptable as time goes on. In my other videos, I've talked about just how housing is becoming a big problem for finding affordable housing. It's just not out there. More and more people are going to be looking for rooms to rent. More and more people are going to be saying, why do I need 3 bedrooms when it's just me? I can rent out 2 of those and make some money. So yeah, Craigslist, hop on there, the rent a room section. There's typically tons on them if you're in kind of a decent sized city. Good way to save up some money very quickly. Give it a try. Give it a try. You might really love it. You'll definitely love the O's and the commas in your bank account. Anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this subject in the comment box below. I'm Tim. Thanks for watching. Hit me up on social media if you want to talk. See you later.